How can we strengthen family and community partnerships, especially with underrepresented groups? Well, as educational leaders, we often ask ourselves this crucial question. Yet, many of our well-intentioned efforts fall short. In my years working with school districts across the country, I've witnessed both tremendous success and heartbreaking missed opportunities in family engagement efforts. So let's talk about authentic engagement through cultural humility. You see, strengthening partnerships with families from underrepresented groups requires more than translated flyers and annual multicultural nights. It demands a fundamental shift toward authentic engagement built on cultural humility, shared decision-making power, and systems designed for equitable access. Successful partnerships emerge when schools recognize families as essential collaborators in education, not merely recipients of information. Now, this means creating spaces where diverse family voices actively shape school policies, practices, and culture. So, I know what you're thinking. Well, that's not very easy. Well, you're right. So let's look at some of the common challenges schools face. Before discussing solutions, I want to examine where many schools are challenged. First, the information dump. Many schools pride themselves on communication that amounts to one-way information sharing. We send newsletters, emails, and automated calls, then wonder why families don't respond. This approach treats families as passive recipients rather than valued partners. And to be honest with you, I did that when I was a building leader. But I've learned better. Now, the second area is cultural blindness. We treat everyone the same. Might sound fair, but it ignores critical cultural differences that affect how families engage with schools. Standardized approaches often center on dominant cultural norms, creating invisible barriers for many families. The third challenge is deficit thinking. You see, too often, low engagement from specific communities is attributed to families not caring about education, rather than examining how our systems might be unwelcoming or inaccessible. This damaging mindset prevents us from addressing the real barriers to progress. The fourth barrier is tokenism. Having a single opportunity night or translating a few documents doesn't constitute meaningful engagement. These surface-level efforts can actually damage trust if not backed by more profound structural changes. So yes, we do need to make changes. So let's talk about the change required. Because meaningful partnership begins with a mind shift. Now, the first shift is from expert to learner. So I want you to approach families with genuine curiosity about their experiences, perspectives, and knowledge about their children. The second shift is from fixing to partnering. So rather than helping families overcome perceived deficits, work collaboratively to build on community strengths. The third shift is to go from compliance to commitment. So move beyond checking engagement boxes to fostering authentic relationships that enrich the educational experience. And the last but not least, fourth shift is from uniformity to equity. Recognize that equitable engagement means different approaches for different communities based on their specific needs and barriers. Now, I want to also share with you 5 effective methods for strengthening partnerships, because we've already looked at some of the barriers that we have. So the first is conduct community listening sessions. So I want you to organize small gatherings in community spaces where families feel comfortable. Rather than presenting information, focus on asking questions and genuinely listening to responses. As Dr. Karen Mapp notes, engagement efforts must begin with parents' priorities and needs, not the school's agenda. Number 2, develop a community leadership team. So create a team with significant representation from underrepresented groups, providing stipends when possible to value their time and expertise. Give this team meaningful decision-making power over engagement strategies and relevant policies. Number 3, implement home visiting programs. When done with cultural sensitivity and proper training, home visiting creates powerful connections between educators and families. These visits should focus on relationship building, not compliance. The fourth area is redesign traditional engagement opportunities. So I want you to examine every aspect of your parent-teacher conferences, back-to-school nights, and family events through an equity lens. Consider timing, location, childcare, transportation, language access, and cultural relevance. And the last is incorporate cultural brokers. Identify respected community members who can serve as bridges between schools and families, helping navigate cultural differences and build trust in both directions. When you do these things, you will experience a fundamental transformation. Why? Because you are meeting parents where they are in authentic partnership. So remember, strengthening partnership with underrepresented communities isn't a program or an initiative. It is a fundamental transformation of how we view and value family participation in education. Now, I always leave you with a challenge. So today, I challenge each of you to take these 3 steps in the next month. The first step, schedule a community listening session in a neighborhood with historically low school engagement. Go with questions, not answers. Your second challenge is to audit your current family communication practices. How much is one-way versus two-way? How accessible is it to all families? And the last challenge is to identify one existing policy or practice that may unintentionally create barriers for certain families and work with community representatives to redesign it. You see, when we approach this work with humility, persistence, and a willingness to share power, we create schools that truly serve all students and families.